Good morning. My name is Michael R. Roser, and I am Chief Coaching Facilitator and co-founder of my company, Strategic Life Coaching, LLC. Please join me for this video and others at my website, abundantlifeslc.com. And this morning, guys, my heart is filled with joy and abundance, and thank you for your good wishes with regard to my book, Alive Again. I'm so glad that you guys are reading it and most importantly, getting something out of it. It's just simply, my journey from a really, really bad spot spiritually and emotionally and physically in my life to changing, living by some spiritual principles that I believe have changed everything in my life. And it's just wonderful to be sharing this all with you. So today I wanted to finish up with these promises that I've been talking about the last couple videos about the actual book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and stating these promises that if we follow these steps in the spiritual life, these are the things that we can expect in our lives to change for the better if we work for them. And we talked about that work being painstaking and having to take some care in that and some preparation and have some courage and be willing to look at our life as it actually exists, accept where we are in that life, and then vow to change and be different going forward. And if we're doing that, then some of these promises are going to come true. We talked about the past and not wishing to shut the door on it, that it can become our greatest asset, that self-seeking will slip away, we'll know a new peace and a new freedom. These things are what an abundant life to me is all about. But this last one, guys, is something that really caught my mental acumen as I was sitting in those meetings early on about this idea of intuition. And we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. And then it goes on to say we will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. And as many times you guys know, God, in my world, good orderly direction, great outdoors, or this being, the spirit of the universe that I believe that I've tapped into, that's giving me strength on a day-by-day basis to be the person capable of this change. So what also says, are these extravagant? We think not. And I hope from these videos that you guys have gotten some sort of an idea that these promises aren't extravagant, that they will come true if you work for them. So what I wanted to do was just to talk about this idea of intuition and, what is it? And so what we've got is the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. And conscious, as opposed to conscience, conscious is awake and aware of something. So without conscious reasoning, I can still have intuition, and to me denotes that when I'm unconscious, my mind is still working, it's still processing, and it's still taking in things. And that's why sometimes if you've had a really stressful day, you could end up having some nightmares. Or if you've had a very peaceful day and so forth, those nightmares turn into nice dreams and you sleep very peacefully, depending upon what we've done with our day. And that's why I feel it's very important to get sleep, meaningful sleep. We have to work on that during our day. If we're stressed out, if life on life's terms is hitting us and we don't like it, we need to process those things. We need to deal with those things. We need to breathe. We need to pray. We need to meditate. We need to self-examine ourselves so that we can take on those terms, on life's terms, as they appear, and then we're not letting them build and we're not letting them ruminate, causing us to miss sleep, causing us not to do the right things that we need to do, causing our intuition to solve things to be buried, because we can't bring ourselves to the present. If we're worried about the past, regretful about the past, if we're fearful of the future, then our daily intuition, that daily ability to process things, gets lost because we're not present. So conscience is an inner voice or a feeling viewed as acting like a guide to the rightness or wrongness of a thought or an action or our own behavior. So if my conscience is telling me, that inner voice inside of me, and I believe that inner voice now comes from God as I understand God. But people will say, geez, you're crazy, you're hearing voices again, Michael, and no, I'm not, but I have a feeling with regard to thoughts and behaviors and actions that in my past I knew weren't right. I knew that there was something wrong with those thoughts and those actions and those behaviors, and they manifested themselves in lots of different ways. And so now, through prayer and meditation and self-examination, I'm taking those thoughts in, I'm taking criticisms in, I'm taking other people's views of my life, and I'm processing those, I believe, in a healthy way. I'm not letting them ruminate. I'm not spending too much time on them, so that I can stay present in today. And there's things that I can do today to improve, and there's things that are going to take a little bit longer, like relationships that I've harmed. I want to repair those. I want to reconcile those immediately. But other people are on their journey, and I have to allow time and allow these living amends, me being the best person I can be today, to let that take hold, let people recognize those things, and hopefully over time, God's time as I understand it, that those people's intuition will also return, and they'll see a different person, and they'll see that I'm trying differently than I used to. They'll see that my outlook and attitude towards life has changed, and that there might be some value in that change for them. But everybody's on their own journey, everybody's on their own destination or destinations, and I have to allow everybody else to be them. So that, as we've talked about in another video, is the definition of humility. Humility is a modest or a low view of my importance. And I can tell you for a long time that I thought I was the most important thing in the entire world, that everybody should listen to me. I had all of the right answers. And as I found, due to some self-enlightenment, that I could move from that ego to a false ego, a false pride, which was violently swinging back and forth between I'm an incredible piece of you-know-what to I'm the greatest thing in the world. And I would swing violently between those. No wonder I drank, to try to calm those immense feelings. So these feelings, that inner voice now, my conscience and my intuition toward that conscience is improving because I'm living a spiritual life. The steps of this process and this program has right-sized me. I'm not the most important thing in the world, and I'm not the worst thing in the world. I'm right-sized. I realize that in my little world, I have importance. I'm accountable and responsible to my friends, to my family, to my fiance, to her family, trying to be the best version of me that I can be. And as I went through that self-enlightment program, I found some things about myself that I wanted to improve upon. And I asked for help from various people and created that team, as I talked about, to help me along this journey. So guys, that's the last promise of living a spiritual program. I hope this has been beneficial. These promises, when I first read them, I guarantee you I did not think they would come true for me. And I wanted them quickly. And I was told by a very wise person, Mike, you got to quit working the promises and you got to work the steps. If you work the steps, the promises will come. You can't work the outcome. And that was enlightening to me, and I hope it is for you. You guys take care. Love you very much. Bye now.